Hello and welcome to the things that bother me. Today's topic is talking about living in the United States with a low income job. The lie we're living. America likes to sell itself as the land of opportunity, but what it's really become is the land of just getting by, if you're lucky. We have fallen into a rigged economy where the majority of jobs are low wage, unstable, and deliberately designed to keep you one missed paycheck away from disaster. At the same time, every necessity, housing, food, utilities, healthcare, transportation, is priced for upper middle class incomes that most Americans will never see. This isn't a coincidence. It's economic engineering. A system built by corporate greed and rubber stamped by politicians in both parties, where the rich have a seat at the table, and the working poor are on the menu. 1. The low wage trap. The U.S. labor market is dominated by jobs that don't even cover the basics. Retail, fast food, warehouses, caregiving, sectors where wages are intentionally suppressed while corporate profits soar. Real wages have been stagnant for decades when adjusted for inflation. Minimum wage is not a living wage, it's a survival wage, and barely that. Union busting laws, right to work, scams, and the gig economy have stripped away job security. The end result: workers are exhausted, disposable, and replaceable, exactly how corporations want it. 2. Prices set by the top 20%. Here's the dirty little secret no one in government or media will admit: prices in America aren't set for the average worker. They're set for the top 20% of income earners, the people with disposable income, high credit limits, and stock portfolios. Corporations, landlords, and service providers don't ask, what can the majority afford? They ask, what will the wealthiest fifth pay before they complain? That's why rent skyrockets even when local wages don't. That's why a gallon of milk costs more in the same store that pays its cashiers poverty wages. That's why healthcare bills look like luxury car prices. This top 20% driven pricing creates a brutal two-tier reality. For the top 20%, life feels expensive, but manageable. For everyone else, it's a never-ending scramble to survive in an economy that was never built for them. 3. The politician-corporate tag team. Both political parties are guilty. Republicans protect corporate tax breaks and crush labor rights. Democrats talk about helping workers but take the same donations from Wall Street and Silicon Valley. Neither side wants to admit the truth. The system works exactly as intended, funneling wealth upward, keeping wages low, and locking people into a lifetime of debt. 4. Survival becomes the new normal. Americans are adapting to this scam by lowering expectations. Working 2 or 3 jobs just to make rent. Living with roommates or family well into middle age. Putting off kids, marriage, or retirement entirely. And here's the kicker. We're told it's our fault for not working hard enough, as if 60+ hours a week is lazy, when billionaires barely lift a finger. 5. The bigger picture. A controlled society. This low wage, high cost model isn't just economic, it's political control. If you're always broke, you can't organize. If you're always tired, you can't fight back. And if you're always afraid of losing your job, you'll stay quiet while the system grinds you down. It's not a broken system. It's a well-oiled machine, just not for you. The boiling point. America's economy isn't failing, it's succeeding at exactly what the elite designed it to do: keep you working harder for less while paying more for everything. They've turned survival into an achievement, and debt into a way of life. The middle class isn't dying, it's already dead. What's left is a country where the rich live in gated bubbles, and everyone else fights for scraps. The only question left is this: how much more are we willing to take before we stop playing by their rules? Now I will focus a little deeper on how America businesses price to what the top 10 to 20% are willing to pay. How the US became a low-wage, high-price machine calibrated to what the top 20%, and especially the top 10%, will pay. America didn't get expensive. It was engineered that way. We froze wages at the bottom, let pricing power drift to corporations at the top, and then built markets that benchmark prices to the wallets of affluent households. If you're not in that top slice, you're not the target customer, you're collateral. 1. The pricing benchmark. Sell to the rich, and let everyone else stretch or go without. In today's economy, firms increasingly aim prices, product lines, and even store footprints at higher income buyers because that's where the spending is. Recent analyses show the top 10% now drive roughly half of all consumer spending, with Moody's estimating the top 20% account for over half, a seismic shift from the broad middle demand story we grew up with. That concentration doesn't just shape what gets sold, it sets the acceptable price level across categories. Why this matters? When the affluent become the demand anchor, normal price points creep upward. Discounts thin out, base models disappear, and the median household becomes a price taker in markets designed for someone else's budget. 2. How companies price when the top 20% sets the pace. Versioning and upmarket drift. More, pro, trims, premium bundles, and subscription tiers, fewer true basics. Dynamic pricing. Raise prices where willingness to pay WTP looks strong, hold only where traffic collapses. Feeification. Even when sticker prices stall, revenue comes from junk fees. Regulators just forced more upfront price disclosure for live event tickets and short-term lodging, hotels and Airbnb, and the CFPB finalized an overdraft crackdown, because fees had become a business model, not an add-on. Bottom line. When firms chase affluent WTP, the floor on prices rises for everyone else. 3. Housing. Landlords and developers price to the top, renters eat the bill. Record renter stress. Half of renter households, 22.6 million, were cost burdened in 2023, 27% were severely burdened, over half of income to housing and utilities. That's a new record. Vanishing low-cost units. Sub $1,000 rentals are disappearing across states as construction skews to higher-end product. When supply arrives at the top, asking rents for normal units stop falling, or even rise as cheaper stock gets renovated or removed. Translation. A market built around what the upper income tenants can pay will not clear at prices the bottom 80% can bear. 4. Healthcare and college. Two engines that push prices up, no matter what wages do. Healthcare. U.S. health spending hit $4.9 trillion, 17.6% of GDP, in 2023 and continues to climb. Hospital consolidation routinely raises prices. Classic studies find 7 to 10% jumps after mergers. Why it keeps rising. Baumol's cost disease. Labor-heavy services, like care and teaching, see costs rise faster than the overall economy. No miracle productivity boost equals higher prices. College. Recent inflation-adjusted tuition pressure has eased at Publix, but sticker prices and total budgets remain high and wildly above 1990s norms. Effect. These sectors set unavoidable monthly bills that eat raises before you see them. 5. Wages at the bottom. Stuck in yesterday while prices live in tomorrow. The federal minimum wage is still $7.25 per hour, unchanged since 2009. In a high-price economy, that's a policy choice to keep a huge share of workers below the waterline and let affluent WTP dictate prices. 6. Pricing power and markups. Market structure does the rest. A large body of research finds average markups have climbed since the 1980s, with ongoing debate on how much and where. Higher markups plus concentrated markets equals more room to set prices above cost, especially where affluent demand is resilient. Even the Fed's own notes treat rising markups as a life, economy-wide issue, though some papers show mixed links to industry dynamism. Net result. If companies can charge more without losing their most valuable customers, they will. And do. 7. The loop that traps the bottom 80%. 1. Affluent households carry a bigger share of spending. 2. Firms chase that demand, shaping products and prices to fit them. 3. The acceptable price level ratchets up. 4. Essential bills, shelter, care, education rise faster than pay. 5. The bottom 80% cuts back, which reinforces step 1, because the rich become an even bigger share of what's left to sell. That's how you end up with low wage, high price America. 8. What it would take to flip the script: practical levers. Not fairy dust. Reset the wage floor. Index the federal minimum to median wages, or productivity, so pay can't lag a decade behind prices. Rebuild true, basic tiers. Mandate all-in price disclosure, expand junk fee bans beyond tickets or lodging, require a no-frills, plainly priced option in concentrated markets, airlines, broadband, banking. Anti-concentration with teeth. Faster merger blocks and unwind deals where local prices jumped post-merger, hospitals or Exhibit A. Mass housing supply where people actually live. Fix zoning. Fast-track infill, missing middle. Condition tax perks on delivering below median rents, not just unit counts. This didn't just happen. We let wages flatline, tolerated consolidation, and allowed the price system to be steered by those least sensitive to price. If you want a country priced for the many instead of the few, you don't beg corporations to be nicer, you change the rules they play by. Raise the floor. Smash the tricks. Build the basics. Force real competition. Until then, the catalog stays premium and the checkout total stays brutal, because the system is working exactly as designed. And with the things that is being allowed to happen in this country today, I think that we are all in a lot of trouble, because prices are going to go up so much that the 80% could be priced out of everything. Thank you for checking out my video today. Please like, comment and subscribe below. Until next time.